Don't worry. He gets worried. I know he hates it. Always has.
Alright, are we ready? Hello, my name is Scott Borgstrom, and I am here today to introduce the Environment Next Metro. Throughout our time in the classroom, one of the main ideas we learned about is the ways the environment is being affected by humans. This class opened up many of our eyes to the vast ways to help the dying planet. One major point was keeping the Earth sustainable. Welcome to our next PO.
As a class, the Next Metro Environment, we took 4 class trips to the Island Beach State Park, the Sourlands, the Pecos Hatchery, and the Delaware Water Gap.
During our time at Island Beach State Park, we spent time cleaning up the beach and walking by the coast, picking up trash. Even though it was a state park, there was a numerous amount of trash. In the earlier part of the day, we spent sanding on the bayside. We did not catch much, but we did catch small marine life, which we observed. After sanding and cleaning up the coast, we enjoyed the beach and played football, spikeball, and frisbee.
So one of the hikes we went on was in Sourland, and that's actually right in our backyard. It's in Hopewell. We spent a lot of our time kind of identifying trees with the app that Honey gifted us. We also got to spend time with each other and learn from each other as well as teachers. I thought it was a lot more fun as a group than just going as an individual. It was a good time and a good experience.
So after the trips, we went to the Pecos Hatchery, which is a fish farm. So there we went on a hike through the forest where we had different tour guides like pointing out different plants and animals and like giving us different descriptions about them. So there we also got a tour of their fish farm where we saw how it operates from hatching different like fish eggs to actually releasing them into the water.
And our last trip was just last Friday with the Delaware Water Gap where we hiked Mount Tammany. It was like a 4-mile hike. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty difficult, but it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of wildlife. Like we caught a snake, which we unfortunately had to release. It was a sad experience. Beautiful view, and then most importantly, we got hot dogs and hot dog brownies.
There you go.
That was great.
A must.
They've been there forever.
As a class activity, everyone brought in trash from home. We found out how long it took our trash to decompose. Some of the trash we brought in included fishing line, tin can, foam cup, plastic bottle, paper towel, cardboard, etc. The activity incredibly impacted the class after we found out it took just our trash over 2 million years to decompose.
So I'm going to talk to you guys about the problems and impacts of not having sustainable communities. So one of the habitat impacts is that trash affects animal habitats. So for one example is that it limits the oxygen availability. And trash is also mistaken as food, so the animals ingest the toxic waste and it harms them. Another habitat impact impacts humans, so higher sea levels. Because of higher sea levels, flooding is worse. So during Hurricane Sandy, force winds pushed the already high water level more towards the shore. So habitats, houses, supermarkets, and offices were being flooded more than they usually would have. And people who live by the shore had to move inland. And the flood damage was $65 billion, and so the money could be used for something more useful. Another impact is chemical impact. So trash transports chemical pollutants to the planet, and it also creates toxic chemicals such as PCBs and pesticides. PCBs is a chemical that is resistant to breaking down. So in the left image, the PCB leaks through the ground and into the water, and the fish absorbs the chemical, making it dangerous to eat them, but we wouldn't know that, so we're putting the dangerous toxic chemical into our body. And trash breaks down into small pieces, which helps to create radiation, weathering, and mechanical forces, which are all negative impacts on the environment.
So runoff is the movement of water and any contaminants across soil. Water running off land towards canals, streams, rivers, and lakes can also move chemicals such as pesticides and fertilizers. In this demonstration, I will be using various chemicals to help demonstrate how water runoff works. I will begin by laying down the chemicals to represent the chemicals in real life produced by many things as simple as window cleaning. The dropper of water I will be using represents the rain, as soon enough the pond won't be as clean as before. And so in this demonstration, this little part here is the pond, and alright, let me come to this side of it. And then this is where I'm going to be laying down the chemicals. So that's like the stuff that might have washed off your house windows, like the window cleaners. And so as you will soon see, as it rains, so most of these chemicals will start running into the water. And that's really dangerous for humans' health, just because you don't want to be drinking chemicals. Sorry. So over time, it might get a little bit more strong, and so it's really dangerous because the more often this happens, the darker the chemical will get, which represents the more chemicals in your water that you could be ingesting. So that's my demonstration of water runoff.
So biological impacts is that marine debris is affected, and over 267 species are affected, which includes 86% of turtles, 44% of seabirds, and 43% of marine mammals. And garbage tingles the animal and harms inside and outside and affects their digestive systems. So human impact is fishing lines and nets. And lines and nets can get tangled into boats and engines and propellers and sometimes cause sinking and crashing of boats. And there was an incident with a New Jersey fisherman where a line got stuck in his propeller, and this led to his death. And another human impact is medical waste. Hypodermic needles are a problem recently, or they have been. And at a point, rivers in New York had to close down their beaches because of just the amount of hypodermic needles in the ocean. And this resulted in $706 million to $3 billion of money lost. And there's a picture of a child who found medical waste on the beach in New Jersey.
So our next section is trash light. So where does the trash go after it gets picked up from the trash can? So we all know, like, you have a regular routine, you put your trash out to the bottom of the driveway, garbage trucks come and pick it up. But where does it go from there? So the trash company picks up your trash and they bring it to the transfer station, which transfers it. So it's loaded onto larger trucks where it takes it to its final destination, which could be like a landfill, like a dump. You can go to recycling centers, incinerators. It really all depends on where you live. So some trash companies recover useful materials from their waste stream before it reaches the landfills. But as you know, there's a lot of trash coming in every single day, so it's hard for them to go through it like thoroughly and pick out everything. So some cities like San Francisco and Seattle, they're able to send their waste to landfills, while other areas are forced to send them to a dump. And the United States is the top producer of municipal solid waste, generating about 254 million tons of trash every year. So out of 2016, the average person produces about 53.38 pounds of newspapers, 5.48 pounds of books, 9.36 pounds of magazines, and 30.25 pounds of office papers in 1 year. So generally, the average U.S. person makes about 4.4 pounds of trash every day, which means 1,606 pounds of trash per year, which is equivalent to the weight of a bowl. And if you stacked it all on top of each other, it would be equal to the same height of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So one family generates approximately 17.4 pounds of trash a day, which is equal to 6,351 pounds of trash a year, which is the same weight as an elephant and the same length as the Golden Gate Bridge. So now, as the United States together, it generates about 685.9 thousand tons of trash generated in only 1 day, which means 254 million tons of trash in 1 year, which is similar to the weight of a whale 1 million times. And if you attach it all together, if you go from the moon to Earth 25 times.
Okay, so what happens to waste that goes to incinerator plants, or they're also called waste to energy plants. So right there, it's a picture of a waste-to-energy plant in Baltimore. So the general process of what happens in these plants is that the trash is hauled over there, and then the trash is burned and used as fuel for a fire to generate steam, and then the steam rotates a turbine which generates electricity. Doing this has multiple pros and cons. The pros is that it's an energy source, so you're producing electricity, you're physically getting rid of the trash so it doesn't go into the ocean or landfill, so it isn't killing like fish or groundwater or soil. And yeah, and the cons of doing this is that it pollutes the air instead and releases significantly higher amount of toxic waste into the air. This is based on the amount of pollution created per unit of energy, and this is sort of bad because like people are being exposed to this stuff. I can change the slide. So in 2018, this is in 2018, so the numbers there are not going to be accurate to today. But in 2018, there were 86 incinerator plants in the U.S. spanning across 25 states. Together they burned 29 million tons of trash a year. That is about 12% of the U.S.'s trash a year. Basically, all the websites agree that burning trash pollutes more than coal. Okay. Overall, it can reduce like trash going into the ocean and landfills, but it's not really entirely clean. And there you can see like all the different chemicals and stuff.
So, what is sustainability? Sustainability is the process of protecting the environment and its wildlife, as well as fighting global issues such as global warming and climate change. We not only want to increase sustainability at HUN to protect our own community, but as well as in natural areas to keep diversity. As you can see on the screen, one of the pictures shows 17 sustainable goals by the UN for 2020. So, how long do products take to decompose? One of the biggest problems in today's society is that people don't know how long it takes for products to decompose, because people choose to litter and throw out trash in the wrong bins. So, for example, a CD takes 1 million years plus just to decompose. Because if people know how long it takes just for simple items such as a CD to decompose, they would care more about the environment.
So anyway, as you can see, all the kind of items made of natural materials like fruit peelings and stuff made of paper take not that long to decompose versus the stuff made of plastics and man-made materials like diapers and cans and stuff. Also, a disposable diaper takes over 38 times to decompose compared to a body. So that really says something, saying since you use it once and then it's probably going to last more than, well, your kids' grandchildren.
Okay, so now we're going to play Kahoot. So all you need to do is take out your phones, go to Google or Safari, search Kahoot.it, the type right here, and then wait for the game to show. We're just going to just ask you general questions about something you're psychable or not, and you say yes or no.
You make your name anything you want, just keep it
Good job, John.
I messed up.
Ready? I didn't check the state.
This is all for single stream. You tell me.
Okay, so water bottle is recyclable as long as there's no liquid in it and the cap is on. The cap is not recyclable.
Oh, the cap can be recycled?
No, you take off the cap and then like clear, make all the liquid out of the water bottle and then recycle it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not.
No cap.
Shut the door because of the noise.
Okay, so a styrofoam cup is recyclable but not for single stream.
Right, yeah. It's yes.
Okay, so cardboard is recyclable as long as you flatten it. If it's flattened, it gets thrown out. So you just make sure you flatten cardboard if you want to recycle it.
So it is, yeah. We're just kids.
Okay, so the grocery bag is once again recyclable, but you can't recycle it in single stream. If you want to recycle it as well, if you don't have like a recycling bin at your house or somewhere nearby you can return it to like local supermarkets and grocery stores and they'll reuse them. Okay, so a paper plate with food on it is not recyclable. A paper plate is recyclable, but any food on it makes it not recyclable at all. So if you want to recycle, take the plates off.
And this.
Well, you can clean it off and then recycle it.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm on the board now, in the last place, but we'll pretend here.
Okay, so all metal cans are recyclable as long as they're cleaned out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
To incorporate that.
Okay, so there's different types of ways of recycling. So you can just recycle it regularly by sorting them by the 7 types of plastics, or you can recycle them by single stream. Single stream is it's kind of hard to explain, but you.
Man, we'll cover it later.
Probably know what it's got paid for.
I said no, but I think yeah.
Let's go!
So, like I said before, all metals are recyclable as long as they're cleaned out. You can also use the tin can and the aluminum can for yourself if you want to put like flowers in it or something like that.
What about the, hey Mike, what about the paint on the can?
It's okay. Anything with foil inside.
Okay, so a chips bag, it's not, or when it's empty, it's recyclable, but since it has the foil, the little metal like gray thing that you see in it, it makes it not recyclable. So just if you
Because it has the.
because it has the foil, yeah, inside. Oh, yeah, right. So magazine is recyclable. It just has paper in it, and paper's recyclable. Okay, so battery is recyclable, but not recyclable. Alright, congratulations. First one of us. Hi. Congrats on the day. Almost as if you knew
Okay, so we sent out a survey to students about like to see what their knowledge was about recycling. So Brody and John, they made a little video of them asking students.
Recyclable, yes or no?
Yes.
Is this wooden pencil recyclable? Correct. Paper straw.
So this is an expansion on Kahoot. This is based off of our students' answers more than anything else. So the first one is a plastic bottle, and this is all for single stream. So it is recyclable, however, make sure that the cap is off, there's no liquid inside. So 52% of the students actually said that it was recyclable with the cap on, so that was incorrect for some of the students. The next thing is cardboard box. Most of our grade all knew this and stuff, however, so 97% knew it, but only 66% knew that it had to be flattened, so make sure that when you're throwing this away, it is flattened. The next thing is plastic bags. So here in Mercer County, it is not recyclable. Only you must take it to a supermarket or store because it takes long and start away to decompose. So bring it there, and 41% of the students falsely say that they can be recycled single stream. The next thing is chips and candy bag. So like Michael said, it's yes or no. Like pretzel bags, maybe yes. But if they have the foil lining inside, then it cannot be recycled, so make sure you get rid of that. So 31% of the students falsely say that all chips and candy wrappers can be recycled. The next thing is Ziploc bags, but this is with food inside. With food is not recyclable, this is with anything still with food in it or liquid can't be recycled, but 97% of students correctly got this. Then styrofoam cups are not able to be recycled single stream. 48% of students falsely say that they can be recycled.
So for a dirty pizza box, you cannot recycle it because there's stains on it, but you can like rip off any parts that aren't stained. But 48% of people said that you can recycle the pizza box. For aluminum cans, most people got this right. 86% said they can recycle, just make sure there's no liquid in there. Light bulbs and glass, You cannot recycle them in single stream, but you can take them to like a Home Depot and they'll take it and use it. 34% said that they can be recycled in single stream. And for steel cans, most people do this, 93% said that it can be recycled.
So what is single stream? It refers to a system with papers, fibers, and plastics, and also containers are mixed and plugged and trucked. Instead of being sorted and deposited, it's handled separately throughout the collection process. So what does it benefit? First, it's much easier for individuals and household places to get rid of it. Then also, second, it saves the city money, so it's definitely beneficial.
So this is a little like key I made to see if something is able to be recycled through single stream. If it's paper, plastic, glass, steel, tin, aluminum, cardboard, or newspaper, it can be recycled, but if not, it's still in the trash. And even though Ziploc bags, labeled plastic bags, are plastic, they're glass, they cannot be recycled through single stream. So they have to go in the trash unless you're willing to drive somewhere to have them recycled. If there's any food stains or liquid on the material, it has to go in the trash unless you're able to wash it out, but this is difficult with like paper products. And lastly, if it's card blocks, like we talked about before, make sure it's broken down. If it's a milk carton, take the cap off, put it in the trash. And it's important to know that if one item of recycling belongs in the trash, all of the batch goes into the trash can, so be mindful of that.
So instead of the recyclable plastic, what's important here in Princeton, we may not live in Princeton, but here in Princeton, we live in Mercer County, so there are 7 types of plastic, but we only single stream recycle 2 of them. So that's basically soft drink bottles, containers, milk jugs. But the only thing that you can't recycle everything and throw it away, just take it somewhere else, look up online where you can take it. If it's maybe a Home Depot or a supermarket, you take it there.
So single stream recycling depends on where you live in New Jersey. So for example, there are 2 counties on the board, Mercer County and Wilson County. And Mercer County recycles number 1 and number 2 plastics. They recycle books, shampoo bottles, cardboard, milk jugs, plastic water bottles, glass bottles, paper, and aluminum cans. And they usually recycle number 1 and number 2 plastics. Burlington County also recycles number 1 and number 2 plastics, but they also recycle number 5 plastics, such as furniture, luggage, and goods.
So everyone's probably heard of the 3 R's, but we're going to go into more depth with them and how to put them to use. So reduce is basically cutting out as much of non-biodegradable substances out of your daily use. Try to use something until it breaks, so you can get the most value out of it, and stay away from one-time use items. And recycle, know the correct way to recycle, and know what belongs in recycling.
Okay, so waste reduction is just basically cutting back the amount of trash that we make. And there's like many simple things that we can do to like reduce our trash. And like obviously like one of the most effective ways is to like avoid making large amounts of it in the first place. And then to like reduce the correct way, like it's important to educate yourself on the rules of recycling. It's crucial to like make sure to research the guidelines in your area, since like not all areas have the same guidelines. And then like the first way is like purchase like reusable grocery bags opposed to like plastic bags, since they take 10 to 20 years to decompose. And then use of jars to store cereal and other food items. This reduces the amount of plastic baggies and containers used to usually store them. And then like lastly, you can just invest in a water bottle, and it cuts down on the amount of plastic bottles that you use. And then with reusing, it also helps with waste reduction. Items that you like normally throw away can be useful. And like when you remove the top to like tin cans and soda cans, you can like use them as like pencil holders, and you can use them to like store many other things. And then you can like see like the egg carton, like you can use that to like things.
If you don't reuse, it takes longer. It takes people to decompose for a while. So if you look at what they made, you guys understand.
Okay. So we made a poster about how long, also like what they said earlier, is how long like decomposing rates. So we compared it to like things that you can actually do. So like for example, you have like a paper towel, which takes about 2 to 4 weeks to decompose, and it's compared to like binge watching every episode of Law and Order, which takes about 19 days. And then for plywood, which is used in a lot of building, it takes about 1 to 3 years to decompose, and that's also the time it took to make Toy Story 3.
So like when you have a plastic bag, it takes 10 to 20 years to decompose, and in 10 to 20 years was the same amount of time that it took to build the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. So upcycling is a process of reusing discarded material like trash. So when someone upcycles, it creates a way to produce a product of higher quality or value than the object's original worth.
Some ideas for upcycling. One of them is using glass bottles and using them as chandeliers. And the other thing is using old books and making them into shelves. Like one of the most important ones is the tire ones, because after tires are used from like operating machinery such as cars and bicycles, they're usually like thrown into landfills, and like most tires, and there are a lot of tires that are being wasted, so it's best to keep them outside the landfills and into like, new creations. And the reason upcycling is important is because one, over 6 billion metric tons are disposed in 2019 almost every other year, and only 9% of those 6 billion are being recycled, and the rest of them are in landfills. And that's a lot of trash to be sent to a landfill. And the other importance behind upcycling is that most of these stuff are non-biodegradable, so if they're left in landfills, they might stay there for probably like over a billion years, which is not good for the environment.
So similar to what Lindsay presented about like what happens to trash, we also wanted to look at what happens to recyclables, and we did a recycled water bottle in New York City because they have a really efficient recycling system. So obviously you throw the water bottle into the bin, and then it's picked up by trucks, which is brought to the material recovery facility, which is just outside the city, and it covers all of the boroughs. So if they get sorted into glass, metal, single-use plastic bottles, and thicker plastic bottles like laundry detergent, which is the type 2 plastic, and then they're sold to this facility. So in this article that we read, it went to a facility called Carbon Light in California, which is one of the main recycling facilities in the whole country. So what happens, so thicker plastics get compressed into blocks and sold on to somewhere else, and then the single-use plastic bottles get sent in the same facility. And then the water bottles enter on conveyor belts, and they go through several metal detectors to make sure there's nothing to interfere with the machines. And then they go through a laser sorting machine to make sure that, to distinguish from green plastic to clear plastic, or like brown plastic or something. And then it's ground to pieces and sold to companies in China.
This is just a quick little video that I made showing what would happen at Hunt if we stopped recycling.
The Huntsville of Princeton's campus is beautiful and can't help. The green grasses, tall trees, and streams are just some of its natural highlights. It is the students' and faculty's job to do their part in keeping the campus clean. If students continue to be careless with their trash, this campus could end up looking something like this. The blue skies on campus will soon turn gray due to air pollution from car and aerosol can emissions. Trash piles accumulate and grow in size. Other excess trash absorbs toxins that pollute the water and soil around campus. These toxins will dramatically decrease the black squirrel population. Also, it will feed on campus litter and possibly choke. Fossil fuels would become very limited. Soon, all gasoline would be gone, and buses could not be used to travel to away sporting events. One student who is very vocal about his passion for recycling is 9th grader John Ballard.
How do we do it here? It wasn't a cycle. Keep the cap off. Alright, recycle. You know how this goes? Yeah, just like you
If every student at Hunt had just a little bit of John's passion, our school would be a much more sustainable environment.
So Sustainable Princeton is a local organization with the goal of inspiring community members to find modern solutions to environmental issues. They held their first Pre-Fest festival this year on May 11th to gain interest in their cause of saving the environment. Some activities available were test driving electrical vehicles to reduce emissions. There's also a bike and stroller ballet instead of your standard car ballet to encourage not driving to their event. So one of Sustainable Princeton's major plans is their Climate Action Plan, which aims to reduce Princeton's contribution to climate change and prepare for its effects. Now you see on this graph here that this is a graph of Princeton's greenhouse gas emissions in the year 2017. What Sustainable Princeton wants to do is they want to reduce these emissions by 80% by the year 2050. Now I know that sounds like a lot right now, but really it's not that hard to do. You see, our three biggest problems are transportation energy, residential energy, and commercial energy. You can reduce transportation energy by utilizing public transportation, carpooling, using your bike, or just walking places that you don't need to drive. Now your residential energy and commercial energy are pretty much the things you pay bills for. It's your electrical bill and your lighting bill. You could reduce your electrical bill by making sure that all light bulbs in your house are turned off unless you're actually using them. Also, you can install solar panels on your roof that convert the sun's light into energy for you to use. You could reduce your water bill by making sure that all faucets and spigots in your house are turned off unless you're actually using them. If we don't do these things, then that can cause climate change, which causes an average temperature increase